Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Sayyid Raza Muhyiddin, member of the visiting faculty, Times Institute Multan for MPH classes. And today is our sixth lecture on health promotion, communication, and health education. And now today we will study the different small concept of the health promotion, communication, and education. And for the first is the health continuum is the first concept. And what is the health continuum? It is the illness wellness continuum. Illness wellness continuum is a graphical illustration of a well-being concept first proposed by Travis in 1972. It proposes that well-being includes mental and emotional health as well as the presence or absence of the illness. So it coincides with the definition of health. Already I told you the health promotion is concerned with all the activities which we done for the well-being and for the maintenance of health for the individuals and the communities. So it is this continuum is a concept given by the Travis. And what does it mean? So this is the continuum of care is a concept involving an integrated system of care that guides and tracks over time through a comprehensive area of health services spanning all levels of intensity of care. So this definition of continuum is a continuous series of elements or items that vary by such tiny differences that they do not seem to differ from each other. And an example of a continuum is a range of temperatures from freezing to boiling. So this is the range of temperatures from freezing to boiling. This is a continuum. Then you see what are the determinants of health. I already told you these are the social and economic environment, the physical environment, and the person's individual characters and behavior. Then the concept of continuum is a kind of idealization of continuous description of matter where the properties of the matter are considered as continuous functions of the space variable. So this is the concept of health in a continuum manner. And now throughout the course of life, what are the influences which are present on the health? So they are the body, mind, environment, spirit, community, emotions, finances, and work. Each can affect our quality of life. If we don't have money to spend, the quality of life will be different. And if there is a problem in the community or you are emotionally disturbed or there is pollution in the environment, all this will affect your health. Now there is another concept is the risk transition. So first see what is the environmental risk transition. So environmental risk transition is the process by which traditional communities with associated environmental health issues become more economically developed and experience new health issues. Risk transition is you were having certain risks, health risks in your life, and now that risks have minimized or the other health risks have appeared during your course of health due to environment or your growing age. So that difference, that transition of risks is called risk transition. And this environmental risk transition is concerned with the risk transition due to environment. So in traditional and economically undeveloped regions, like in Pakistan, humans often suffer and die from infectious diseases are of malnutrition due to poor food, water, and air quality. So those Africans where there is, there is hunger, so the people they die of malnutrition. Definitely, this hunger and poverty lead to the development of diseases due to non-supply of the safe water and sanitation and other conditions. But when you are economically developed in a country which is economically developed, these environmental issues are reduced or solved and others begin to arise. So there is a shift in the character of these environmental changes and as a result, a shift in the causes of death and disease. So this is risk transition. Then is the risk transition framework. You just see there are on one side there are transitional risks and transitional diseases. Traditional risks and traditional diseases. And on the other side now there are modern risks and modern diseases. So this traditional have been shifted into the new one. And so the causes of death due to traditional diseases is in the underdeveloped countries, whereas due to the modern diseases and modern risk factors in the developed countries. So these are all concerned with the risk. There is the risk transition is epidemiological transition and demographic transitions. So it is due to population growth and age distribution. Then another concept is life course perspective. The life course perspective or life course theory is a multidisciplinary approach to understanding the mental, physical, and social health of individuals, which incorporates both lifespan and life stage concepts that determine the health trajectory. That the life course perspective in sociology is a theory used in social sciences that looks at how a person grows and changes over time. Researchers using this theory may study a cohort or a group of people born during a particular time frame who are experienced similar historical events. So this is life course perspective in sociology. And what are the themes of life course perspective? These major themes are, four dominant and interrelated themes. These are interplay of human lives at historical time, timing of lives, and then linked are interdependent lives and human agency in making choices. These are the four themes of life course perspective. And then now there are 10 stages of human development. So they all affect the life course perspective. Some, scholars, they divide these there are 4 or 5 stages. There's then 6 stages, but the 10 stages are, you can make any stages, is the prenatal development periods according to period is prenatal development, infancy and toddlerhood, early childhood, middle childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, middle adulthood, late adulthood. So you can make it by incorporating 2 or 3 stages into one. So what is the life course approach to health? In epidemiology, a life course approach is being used to study the physical and social hazards during gestation, childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, and middle life that affect chronic disease risk and health outcomes in later life. So that is life course approach to health. And then there is, there were topic of the World Health Reports. So the World Health Report 2001 is, it is the World Health Report, Mental Health, New and Developed, New Hope. It is crucial to the overall well-being of individual sciences and boundaries. The report advocates policies that are needed to ensure that stigma and discrimination are broken down and the effective prevention and treatment are put in place. So this is World Health Report 2001. Then the World Health Report 2002, it states about the reducing risks and promoting of the health activities. It describes the amount of disease, disability and death in the world today that can be attributed to a selected number of the most important risks to human health. It also shows how much this burden could be lowered in next 20 years if the same risk factors were reduced. And the World Health Report 2003 is about the shaping of the future. So this report examines the global health situation and some of the major threats to health in today's world. Drawing on many, this report suggests that major improvements in health for everybody are within reach and that progress depends on collaboration among governments, international institutions, the private sector and the civil society to build stronger health systems. So all these reports, the 2001 report is about to understanding the new hope, and this 2002 is to reducing the risks and promoting healthy life, and 2002 is the shaping the future. So now we see what are the steps of a comprehensive health communication campaign. Health communication, I've already told you, it's a two-way process. It is the share of information between the sender, we the health providers or the health promoters, and the audience, the public. And it is a two-way communication with, of course, the feedback. And what are its steps? It is these two. Step one is to get started, clear. Then is to revisit your health promotion strategy, analyze and segment audiences. You have to see what are your audiences. You have to, segment them. And then is to develop an inventory of communication resources. And I've already told you what are the resources of health communication. Then is to set communication objectives. The objectives are to promote health or to educate the people or whatever it is. And then we will select the vehicles and channels. What channels we will use, whether it will be face-to-face, whether it will be through television, through mass media, through newspaper pamphlets or whatever, or the conferences, seminars, whatever it is. And then is the combine and sequence communication activities and develop the message strategy. There must be a strategy. Give the message, what the information we want to impart to the audience, what is our strategy? And then we must identify our project and we have to develop the materials, implement our campaign, and then complete campaign evaluation. So 12 steps comprehensive health communication campaign. Then what are the core skills for monitoring and evaluation of health promotion programs? These are social science research skills, data analysis, communication, contextual knowledge, data collection through technology, multiple languages, and hiring a monitoring and evaluation consultant, the third party consultancy. And then are the steps of evaluation program. The program evaluation process goes through 4 phases. The evaluation program, not the campaign. First is the planning. We have to plan an evaluation program. Then we have to, it is implementation. We have to implement it. Then we complete the evaluation program, and then is we disseminate it and report it. So, which is the purpose of the evaluation? So that complement the phases of program development and implementation. And each of these phases have unique issues, methods, and procedures. Thank you very much.